We can now go live to Rula Amin, who's gathering information from neighbouring Beirut for us. Rula, what other details do you have for us?
What we know is that there were two explosions. It was car bombs in the parking lot of the Palace of Justice. This is the main courthouse. And when we say in the heart of the capital, this is the heart of the capital as can be. It's steps away from the walls to the old city. It's also steps away from the main entrance to the Hamidiyya market, the most famous market in Syria. And it's situated in a very busy commercial area. At that time of the day, around 1 p.m., it's going to be very, very, very busy. And if this explosion is big, it's going to be, the death toll will be high. But so far, we have not heard of any numbers on the death toll from the Syrian government. What they say is that this is a terrorist attack. As usual, they accuse extremist militant elements of being behind these attacks. They usually accuse Al-Qaeda. And this is what's happening in this case as well. We know that ambulances have been rushing to the scene, but we don't know anything about the death toll yet.
Right, Rula, as you're speaking there, we're seeing pictures of firefighters trying to douse the flames. The flames seem pretty large, but there are people walking by. And Rula, you know, as we mentioned, the day before there was an attack on a TV station that was said to be pro-regime, pro-Assad, and now we're seeing this in the courts of justice, all very much government institutions. There seems to be now more of a target of very high-profile venues and people.
Yes, but as usual, you know, we have two versions usually. If you talk to the activists on an explosion like this, they usually accuse the government of orchestrating it to prove its point that it's fighting terrorist elements, not peaceful protesters. Now, the attack on Al-Ikhbariyya channel yesterday was a very daring attack, and it showed how advanced the armed rebels have, how much advancement they have made. It wasn't just a car bomb or shelling it from far away. This was a group of armed fighters who were able to beat the security guards. They were able to conquer these security guards, go into the building, kill at least 7 people, kidnap 11, and withdraw. And for the government, this should be a very major source of concern and worry. It shows how volatile things have become even inside the capital, Damascus. It's a pro-government TV station. Security must have been very tight over there, and yet the rebels were able to go in and do what they did. And so the government this will make the government look weaker in the eyes of the people inside the capital, something the government does not want. They have been boasting that they still enjoy significant support from the population in the capital. They have been boasting that they are still in firm control of the capital, and that's why the rebels and the opposition is so adamant to bring the battle to the Syrian capital.
Rula, we're getting reports from state TV. Syrian state TV is now saying that 3 people have died. I want to bring it back to the fact that this happened in Damascus, also the previous attack yesterday in Damascus. And it seems Damascus has largely been immune from the kind of fighting we've seen in other parts of the country. What does this say to you now that it's in the capital?
Well, it says the violence is escalating even inside the capital that had remained for months relatively quiet. In the past few weeks, we have been hearing of more fierce fights, armed confrontation between the government forces and the armed fighters, not only during the night hours, but even during the day, especially in the suburbs of Damascus. In many areas yesterday, for example, in Douma, in the areas in between Zamalka and Arbin, there were also fierce clashes that lasted for hours. And as I said, it shows that the capital is one of the areas in Syria that will prove which way this battle between the government forces and the rebels will go. The government feels as long as it controls Damascus and as long as it controls Aleppo, Syria's second largest city, it can maintain power for a long time. And the rebels know that, and that's why they are trying very hard to fight and bring the peaceful protest into the capital, bring more people onto the streets, and even armed confrontations. They want to rattle the government, they want to rattle President Assad, and they want to tell the world that they should be supported because they are making advancements, they are getting better, their attacks are becoming more effective. Now, we have to mention, though, that the attack yesterday on Al-Ikhbariyya even those who oppose the government were not very comfortable with it. They felt that attacking journalists and attacking news stations is not something, it's not a road and a track they want to go to. Many people saw it as another sign of how the situation is deteriorating in the country and how chaos is prevailing.
Okay, that's Rula Amin live for us, updating us on that, the bombings in just outside the car park in the Justice Palace in Damascus.